Man, I'm sick. I'm sick for the Lions right now. That was a devastating loss. I mean, congratulations to the Commanders. They deserved it. They were the better team that night. But I am sick for the Detroit Lions. I'm a Chicago Bears fan, if you don't know. I won't say I root for the Lions because I just can't. I can't. I'm a Bears fan. I can't root for the Lions. But I respect the Lions. And I respect how they come to work. And man, that team is built for tough. That team was primed for this opportunity. It seemed like it was their year, and it almost had to be their year because you knew they were losing both of their coordinators at the end of the year. So they both came back. They said, listen, that loss in San Francisco in the NFC Championship game, we should have won it. We're coming back to get what's ours. And they play like it all year. They play like it all year. I loved it. I love the way they came to work. That team, as I said, was built tough. They brought a tough team mentality. Look, when everybody told them when they were going to San Fran, yo, you got nothing to play for. Why are you playing your guys? They said, listen, we got to get some get back. So we packing this thing up, going to the West Coast. We about to whoop that you know what. And they did that. And they did that. Then they came back and then they said, listen, what we're going to do? We're going to whoop Minnesota next. And then they did that. So you just assume that, listen, this was going to be the year that the Detroit Lions finally got to the Super Bowl. And man, it was a rough day. Jared Goff took a bad day. It was just a bad day to have a bad day for Jared Goff. Just a bad day to have a bad day, and the turnovers, they kill you. The defense, it kills you. Having 16 guys on IR, they finally caught up with you. Finally caught up with you. So with Jared Goff having the day that he had, with the glass slipper falling off of his foot, then you got the guys that are on IR on defense, and you just couldn't stop. And where's the Bart Scott couldn't stop a nosebleed, and you couldn't get off the field. You couldn't whatsoever. And it was just a bad day to have a bad day. And unfortunately, that's how it works in the NFL. That's just how it works. That's how it works in a single elimination tournament when you got professionals out there. And man, do I feel sick for them because you put so much into it, especially when you get as far as you did a year ago. And this is not to diss Washington as if they didn't put the same work in. They did as well. But their expectation was not Detroit Lions. They did not have the expectation of making it to the NFC Championship this year. They were just trying to be somewhat competitive with their rookie quarterback. All right. The Detroit Lions had only one goal, to be the Super Bowl champions, to make it to the Super Bowl. All right. And they were the 1 seed. They were the best team in the NFC by far all year long. And then finally, one day, you have a bad day. And the Washington Commanders are not better than the Detroit Lions, but they were that day. And that's professional sports. And that's what hurts. That's what hurts so much. And man, I am feeling for the Detroit Lions, man. It just caught up with you. 16 guys on IR, couldn't stop anybody on defense, the turnovers on offense. You just had a bad day and everything caught up with you. Everything that you were overcoming all year long just caught up with you at the wrong time. And maybe it would have the next round, or maybe it would have in the Super Bowl because it hadn't so far this year, but it finally did. And man, I am sick for those guys because I understand what it feels like when you put everything into it, everything into this year because you're trying to avenge what happened last year. And game one, picked a bad day to have a bad day, man. Again. And listen, man, I'm sick for Detroit. I ain't gonna be sick for that long just because I'm a Bears fan again. But I like Dan Campbell. I like what he stands for. I like what he's built that team into. I like everything the Detroit Lions stand for and what their football team is about. And man, it sucks, man. It sucks. And I felt them. I felt their coach. I felt those tears. I felt the disappointment. I felt the devastation. Man, how could you not? How could you not when you went and looked at these post game pressers, man? It hurt. It hurt during the game. But you know what? That's professional sports. That's what it is. That's the emotion. That's what we put into it. That's why we love it so much. And congratulations to the Commanders because they're moving on. And Jaden Daniels, do your thing, boy. Do your thing. Do your thing. Because he is that dude right now. He is cooking. And that team is playing well. So we got to give them credit. But boy, we know the best team, the better team was the Detroit Lions. But we also know in a single elimination bracket and tournament, you don't have to be the best team. You just got to be the best team that day or that night. And the Washington Commanders were the best team that night. In Detroit, I'm sick for you. But you know what? We'll see what happens. Hopefully, the ascension of the Chicago Bears will come at some point. That's neither here nor there. But man, we sick for you. We sick for you. But we move on, and the Commanders await the winner of the Rams Eagles game. Again, we didn't see that coming. but it is what it is. It's sports for us. Lions, hold your head up. You had a great year, a disappointing year. I understand that, but it still was a great year. A lot to be proud of here as an organization. So I'm sick for you, Lions, but it is what it is, and that's sports for you. And we move on. Congratulations, Commanders, for moving on to the NFC Championship. We out.